you make sense of West Africa's investment world. This podcast is brought to you by BOA, your most comprehensive platform for investing in African stocks, bonds, and managed funds. You can download the BOA app on your favorite Google and Apple app stores. Despite the overall market trending slightly lower in the past week, several stocks delivered spectacular gains, creating interesting possibilities for attentive investors. We're going to go through the week's big winners, the movements of the BRVM's key indexes, and the highlights from the bond market. And of course, we'll put all this into perspective so you can understand what it means for you as an investor in West Africa. Let's begin with the individual performances. The undisputed star of this week is SAFCA Côte d'Ivoire. The stock surged by more than 31.40% to reach 1,130 francs CFA. For those new to this market, SAFCA operates in the agro-industry sector, an area that can benefit from strong local and regional demand for processed food products. Such a jump in just a few days is rare and likely reflects renewed interest or positive expectations about the company's outlook. For investors, it's a reminder that certain less liquid stocks can experience rapid moves when the market reacts to specific news or sector trends. Right behind, we have Vivo Energy Côte d'Ivoire with a 9.66% increase, closing at 135 franc CFA. Vivo Energy, a distributor of fuels and lubricants, is likely benefiting from expectations tied to changes in commodity prices and a rebound in consumer demand. In a context where oil remains a key driver of the regional economy, such a performance naturally draws attention. In third place, among the week's top gainers, we find Bank of Africa Mali, which advanced 8.26% to close at 3,670 francs CFA. This increase is part of a broader trend where banking stocks in the region are enjoying a favorable interest rate environment and positive credit dynamics. For investors following the banking sector or seeking exposure to the UEMOA region's economic growth, this is an interesting signal. But not everything was positive this week. The overall market was down. The BRVM Composite Index, which tracks all listed stocks, ended the week 0.4% lower at 301.72 points. The BRVM 30 Index, which tracks the 30 most actively traded stocks, fell 0.48% to 150.76 points. Finally, the BRVM Prestige Index, focused on large-cap stocks, dropped 1.05% to 127.91 points. What do these numbers mean for you? A general decline in indexes, even a modest one, can indicate that the market is in a consolidation phase. That means that even if some stocks perform very well, others are under pressure, often due to disappointing earnings, profit-taking after previous gains, or macroeconomic factors. For an investor, it's a reminder that diversification is essential. Holding positions across different sectors and asset types helps smooth portfolio performance. Among the biggest losers, SETAO Côte d'Ivoire posted the largest drop, falling 7.56% to 550 francs CFA. Despite still having a positive year-to-date performance of 22%, the company is suffering from earnings that the market considers insufficient and from ongoing doubts about its ability to turn things around. This is a classic example of a stock that, despite a good run earlier in the year, can be weakened by recent developments or questions about its strategy. CIE Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivorian electricity company, slipped 6.52% to 2,750 francs CFA, partly due to the detachment of a 180 franc CFA dividend and investor interest in the stock's attractive price. This kind of technical move is common. After a dividend is paid, the stock price mechanically adjusts downward. But it can also present a buying opportunity if the fundamentals remain strong. Finally, UNIWAX Côte d'Ivoire, in the textile sector, fell 3.51% to 550 francs CFA, continuing a downward trend that has been visible in this segment for several weeks. Now let's talk about market activity. This week, total traded volume reached 4,158,797 shares, with a total value of 4.69 billion francs CFA. That's a notable drop of 47.28% compared to the previous week. This suggests that investors were a bit more cautious, or that there were fewer large-scale trades in some major stocks. On the bond market, total capitalization fell slightly by 0.31%, from 10,555.45 billion francs CFA to 10,522.7 billion francs CFA. Activity remained moderate, with 17,105 bonds traded for a total value of 87.891 million francs CFA. The SONATEL 10-year bond with a 6.50% coupon was by far the most actively traded security, accounting for nearly 92% of total bond market volume. A total of 15,066 of these bonds changed hands, representing 75.751 million francs CFA in value, confirming strong investor interest in high-quality issuers. For an investor, such concentration in a particular bond can signal a search for safety or stable returns, especially when the equities market is showing more volatility. SONATEL's bonds are seen as relatively secure, and they offer a way to diversify a portfolio while reducing overall risk. In summary, this week revealed an interesting contrast. On one hand, a slightly weaker overall market, with indexes slipping and total trading volume down sharply. On the other hand, some spectacular individual performances, like those of SAFCA, Vivo Energy Côte d'Ivoire, and BOA Mali, remind us that opportunities can still emerge even in a less dynamic market environment. Looking ahead to next week, there are a few signals to watch. Some stocks that have corrected could attract renewed buying interest if investors feel the drop has gone too far. At the same time, sectors that have performed well, such as energy and banking, could continue to attract buyers if current trends hold. But as always, the specific recommendations, targeted opportunities, and in-depth analysis are reserved for DABA Pro subscribers. That's where you'll find our detailed analysis, precise recommendations, and regular updates to help you anticipate market moves instead of just reacting to them. To get weekly recommendations, access exclusive analysis, and cut your investment costs, subscribe to DABA Pro. With DABA Pro, you don't just follow the markets, you get ahead of them. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to the DABA Markets Talk podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with another update. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, follow us, and share with friends. Remember, this information is for educational purposes. Always do your own research or consult with a financial advisor before making investment decisions. And download the DABA app on your App Store to start investing in African stocks, bonds, and manage portfolios through your phone and find other helpful content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing your financial knowledge.